You can be angry at me if you like. There is no channel doing well in Gotcha right now unless they're pandering to children. And that's it. Right? And that's it.
As you can see, this is on today's stream. Tectone's reacting to a MTash video entitled "Is Gotcha Streams Live Streams Dying?" And Tectone goes on to say, and we'll continue this video in a minute, that essentially, unless you're catering to children, then you don't really have a way to make a living on Twitch or YouTube. And this is a follow-up from yesterday's video on basically now allowing NSFW stuff on his Discord. And although his Discord is labeled, and let me pull that up for everyone to see, it is labeled 18 plus. We all know that that is just a way to skirt liability. In reality, all these underage kids, so to speak, will say whatever age they want to or log on to their parents' accounts and act as though they're older than who they are, and it's not being represented. And to be honest, from a content creation, from a corporation, from a capitalist perspective, they don't care. They presume that a large number of these people are kids in Tectone's channel. And therefore, they'll throw him advertisement deals. They'll throw him lucrative sums of money because they know that the audience is an audience that they cannot directly advertise to because it's illegal to. And because content creation is in this gray area, they're able to skirt a lot of that legality and yet still target a demographic that they want to basically indoctrinate into the system for the lifetime. And content creators benefit from this because they grow up to be 20-year-olds, 26-year-olds, 35-year-olds who continue to play games, watch streams, and, most importantly, support them, support companies, support content creators. And now we're living in this perpetual populist ecosystem that probably was created from TikTok and Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. And now we have all this generational, addiction that exists because of all these young kids that were exposed to it early. And we just continue to perpetrate this. And it's okay. It is what it is. We live in a new age, It's the new world order with Donald Trump being president. And therefore, all things are possible. You can be a criminal and still be president. And that's not me saying it. That's the courts that were basically, that found Donald Trump guilty. And he was a convicted felon. And he's now going to be president of the United States. So you can do that. It depends on who you are. And in the case of Tectone, it depends on who he is. He probably gets away with all this stuff. Is it illegal to have NSFW stuff on his Discord? No, because he says it's 18 plus, and therefore it skirts all the legal liabilities. Is it morally, ethically wrong? Yes. Is Donald Trump morally, ethically wrong? Yes. Is Kamala morally, ethically wrong? Sure. That's the society we live in. The question that we have to ask ourselves is, do we really care? Do you actually care? I have no idea, but I'm going to continue to highlight, these instances where this happens because I think it's important to talk about it, whether or not it actually matters or anything happens. So let's continue the video for a little bit, and then we'll come back on the back end and wrap this video up.
I'm not going to do that, right? I'm not going to do that. And you can try to give me a single outlier, but that is the legitimate truth. The only channels doing well right now in Gacha are Genshin mains that pander to children. Give me anything else. Ziox has 3K playing variety. Okay, so there's a difference between playing variety once and playing variety consistently and never touching your main game. Right? Way different. Way different. Guys, I have no reason to cope about this. I've already showed everybody the analytics. I have no reason to lie about this. It is the truth. Like every single...
The analytics that are shown do not, unfortunately prove anything. They do not prove demographics. as far as the age of people watching a show. And I just wanted to highlight and stop this video right now because Tectone says that the only way to be successful in this space is to pander to children. And then conveniently, as is always the case, Tectone basically says that he's not the one doing that, when in reality, you know, there's no other way to do this successfully without pandering to children. Like, this is just how this symbiotic relationship works with gotcha and content creation. It goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. But, that doesn't mean he's not going to try to distance himself, because God knows he doesn't want that connection, because who would, in reality, even if he can, act stupid.
Gotcha channel is down unless they're pandering to children and spamming Genshin Impact. Straight up. That is just the truth. You can give me any counterpoint you want, but I promise you this. I know this game a lot more than y'all do. Okay? This is my job. I have my finger on the pulse of analytics pretty much non-fucking stop.
And he knows that the demographic is mostly minors and people under the age of 18. And yet he continues to have discords that have NSFW stuff on it. And obviously, this is not the court of law. And so anything he says now when he's in the court, if he ever were, he'd be able to say, oh, I just misspoke, or, I was just kind of like, hyping it up, or, well, that may be not the right word, but I was just feeding into my audience, Obviously, I don't really know this information. I'm not the expert. Technically, I didn't go to school for this. There's a bunch of different ways for, Tectone to get out of this, to maneuver out of this. So even if, let's say, we look at this and say, well, that's just, guilty, and, there's no way to walk in around it, there is always a way. Unless you swear on the Bible, in the court of law, and your testimony is held, and even then that can still be, appealed and stuff like that. There's a lot of leeway, unfortunately, and there will be more even potentially in the future for certain individuals. But we'll have to see, and that's another video. Let's continue for a minute more.
There is no outliers. There literally is no outliers. And when somebody comes and says, oh, well, this guy played this one game one time. Yeah, well, there's a difference between playing it one time and getting people excited versus playing it every single fucking day. It's not looking good. It's really quick.
Wanted to have a little chat because someone in chat actually said something interesting. They said, would you say that people in general are less interested in gotcha content? I feel like the numbers are low through the board.
They are.
Now, a lot of creators' numbers are down. I mean, my numbers are down, but I'm also not really posting. I'm not bothering to post if I don't feel engaged. I'm kind of just in a limbo here waiting for a new game that gets me super excited, right? But are gotcha games dying? Is the audience dying? I think a couple things are happening. So number one, there used to be Genshin, right? When everyone was locked down, Genshin came out, and it was like, what is this open world Zelda anime game? It's free. Let's try it. And so one thing I think had happened is people jumped in, and they loved the game. And a ton of people that typically don't play gotcha games played it. A bunch of my friends that are typically, Destiny and MMO type creators played it. But the same thing happened. A bunch of my friends played it for the first couple of weeks.
Now,
and
I will say this. My gotcha content still does exceedingly well. Which I'm very happy about, comparatively to other people. So I'm not worried about anything. I mean, full disclosure, and I'm just going to keep it real. For any creators who are worried about me, I'm still making around 120 to 150 grand.
120 to 150 grand a month is what? And we'll just let him finish that sentence.
Every single month.
Right. Which indicates the success of Tectone, which will not happen without it being, predominantly children in this space. Because you're not going to get that from subscribers entirely. You're not going to get that from followers entirely or engagement entirely. You're going to get that from investors giving you a nice sum of money through, promotional deals or whatever else, whether it's funneled through OTK, Mythic Talent, Mushroom, all of his other 5 businesses that he has, which they know his audience is relatively young. And that is extremely beneficial to invest in someone like Tectone, because then in return, even if they don't spend money, they have someone for life in the pocket of someone like Tectone, just because of the nature of being young and influenced. That is just a reality. Does it matter? Who cares? Those are questions that you have to ask yourself. I do care, and I will continue to highlight this issue Whether it's going to change anything or matter at all, obviously up in the air. Apparently it doesn't. But we'll have to see. My name is Plazookas. If you like this content, like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.